Hey everyone, welcome. Welcome to Delta Flyer Build episode 5. We should be printing in this episode, I hope. Yeah, I hope we're going to be doing some printing. I don't see why not. I've done a very small amount of work off stream just to make sure that we're ready. But yeah, we definitely should be in good shape here. I got my end stops. We're not going to have part cooling today, but we can still print a Rolo cube or a calibration cube or something like that. I'm not too concerned about that. So we'll definitely still be able to do the calibration and all that kind of stuff. Hey Will, welcome. So I have installed one of my optical end stops on this side here. I just wanted to make sure that I was able to wire it and get it working before stream, so I'm pretty sure that should be good to go. And then what we're going to do here to start is we're going to put in the rest of our optical end stops, and they go in underneath, and they just thread into some holes right in the frame. So it's kind of difficult for me to show it, but I'm going to flip this on its side here, and we are going to start doing the rest of the end stops, because we cannot print without end stops. So again, for a Delta, we want to use optical end stops. You can buy these off Amazon, AliExpress, wherever. They're very easy to get a hold of, and they do come with decently long wiring for the most part. So I'm going to pre-install the cable here, and these optical end stops are labeled, so it's voltage, signal, and ground. There's a little label right by the connector. These do run on 5 volts, and they are a 3-pin end stop. So if you have a main board that supports 3-pin end stops, great. If you don't, it's not a big deal. We're just going to take the 5-volt wire off, like separate it from this bundle, and we're going to run it off of another 5-volt source. So all 3 of our end stops, I'll combine the 5-volt wire, and we'll just plug it into a 5-volt source on the motherboard. BL Touch, something like that. So optical end stops are much more accurate than mechanical. So you cannot use a mechanical end stop on a Delta. It's not accurate enough. We need the most accuracy possible, so you have to run optical. They're much more repeatable, no moving parts. They're just all around better. So I'm going to just first feed my wires in through these cutouts that I have in the top panel. And then there is a printed spacer that you need to install. Excuse me, I still have some sort of throat cold or something like that, but it is definitely getting better, luckily. And yeah, we're basically just installing this. Like I say, it just threads into plastic. I need to go get some M3 by 16. It should be. Grab these 2. So put our bolts through here, M3 by 16s. This one's off a little bit. And yeah, pretty straightforward. Like I say, there's 2 holes. This isn't a very crazy part that needs rigidity, so it just threads in the plastic. You want to make sure it's nice and tight though, the end stop doesn't move around and stuff like that. But very, very simple to install. And you also want to make sure that it's aligned properly. There's not a whole lot of alignment that you need to do. It should align itself. but we want to make sure that the carriage can go all the way up and the flag can go into the optical end stop. So I have my end stop installed there on this one here. So basically I want to move this up and make sure it moves into that without any issues. That's perfect. It's going right into that optical stop. I am going to trim my belts. I do have a little bit of excess belt here. Be careful not to trim it too much, but there we go, perfect. So that will trigger our end stop, and I'll show that once we actually get them all wired and stuff. So 2 end stops installed. We just need our final end stop, and then we will move on to wiring them. So, and usually optical end stops come in like a bag of 8 or 5 or something like that. Like they're very inexpensive. Like 20 bucks gets you 5 end stops, something like that. All right, so get our spacer here, and I'm gonna put it like this. Grab our bolts. I have already wired my hot ends. My heater and my thermistor are already wired. Very straightforward. I just cut the ends. I extended the wires. Really simple. Again, I did that just to make sure that I had the wires and stuff for them. I had all the parts, that type of thing. So let's get this out of the way. I have cut my acrylic panels, so we're going to be installing at least one side for sure so that I can mount the extruder. I have a metal BMG clone extruder that we're going to be using on this printer. That is going to be the default extruder for Delta Flyer. It's just a BMG clone. I highly recommend using like a Triangle Labs, like a decent clone, but you can buy cheap clones off Amazon too. I've had success with those as well. It's not the end of the world if that's what you want to use. You of course can use a genuine BMG if you want. So there's the possibility for a kit. The kit won't include the arms, just because no one makes arms for these. Like no printer manufacturers make arms for these. You would have to order the arms separately. If you guys are interested in a kit for this, I can have one made. I can absolutely have a kit made, but I need to know interest. But yeah, there's a very strong possibility that I can have a kit produced if you guys are interested in a kit on Delta Flyer. So, my thoughts on it would be that'd be amazing. However, I'm gonna make a much larger 2020 extrusion, 2040 extrusion printer. So that I could make a kit on it. It'd be 250 by 250, 2040 extrusions. It'd be a more useful, I shouldn't say more useful, it'd be a larger Delta. Thank you very much, I appreciate it. Yeah, depends on what you guys want, right? Like if you'd want a kit in this size, a 120 millimeter kit, or would you want a 2040 larger Delta kit? Like a 250 by 250 Delta printer kit. Obviously it would be more money. This one should be relatively inexpensive, but yeah, potentially Phoenix 2. If I'm going to do a kit, what's the preference? Delta Flyer or Phoenix 2? So, now, Phoenix 2 is not coming anytime soon. I have I have to finish this first, and I have to finish Pegasus before I even start thinking about that. And I have a secret printer that I'm designing in the background that I would like to finish first. So it'll be a little ways before I have a 2040 like frame Delta, but we could absolutely get a kit made for this. And because there's no frame or anything like that, it could be pretty inexpensive. I imagine it'll be around the same price as a Rook, though, just based on once you add the main board and stuff like that with the CB1 and all this stuff, it's going to come around the same price. But yeah, there's very, very high possibility that a kit could be made pretty easily. Okay, so we have our optical end stops here. Welcome, Mitsubishi, welcome. Which ones did I not? There's this one, there's this one. Oh yeah, and there's this one. Okay. Optical end stops are installed, which is great. So I think what I'm going to do here now is we can probably install one of the side panels just to clean some of this wiring up a bit. Yeah, I think what I'll do is I'll put a poll on my YouTube channel and I'll put a poll on Discord and I'll see what people say if they want a kit for Delta Flyer. So I think we're going to get a panel installed. So I cut some black panels on my diode laser. Really easy to do. And I do have a panel for BMG. So here's a very simple acrylic, black acrylic panel. And we have our hole for our Bowden. And we have 2 holes for our BMG mount. So essentially this is going to go on the side here. We need to add some heat sets first. And then this is just going to bolt up onto the side. So let's go ahead and do some heat sets. We have 6 heat sets we need to do on this side of the printer. Get my soldering iron heating up here. But yeah, it's absolutely no real problem to do a kit. I just want to make sure that the kit will sell well and that people would be interested in it. So gauging interest first will be ideal. I need heat sets. So we need 6 of these. Hopefully everyone's weekend's going well. I have a LAN party happening right after this. It's a LAN party Saturday for me, but that's why I'm able to stream early, an earlier time here. So what we'll do is, can I see if I can get a better angle on this camera for you guys? So, hey Kenrog, welcome. So we are going to be popping in 3 heat sets on the top and 3 heat sets on the bottom. Very straightforward. And there is a lip. You can probably see it better on here. There is a lip on these corner panels that the acrylic will kind of sit into. So should be a decent seal. If you wanted a better seal, you could seal that with like hot glue afterwards or a very small piece of foam. You'd have to cut like a little foam strip, but I honestly think it will be fine for printing basic ABS Plus, nothing fancy of course, but nice. That's always a fun time too, board games and snacks. Always good times for sure. Alright. So let's go ahead and pop in our heat sets here. Should be very, very easy to do. You want to make sure that you get these heat sets in nice and flush so that your panels sit flush. So I'm gonna push this in as far as I can pretty much, and then I'm going to use a flat metal surface like this, and we're going to just push it across there. Hopefully I'm not gonna have any wires in the way. So cooperate with me. I printed all this in Sparta ABS Plus. Normally I use Sparta because, well, one, I'm in Canada, and they have like probably the best colors possible. But you can definitely use whatever you like. It's still sticking out a bit too much. There we go. That's better. Yeah, I don't do anything high enough temperatures or anything to have issues with ABS Plus. I'm totally fine with it. Works great for me. I'm not doing anything serious enough to require full ABS. If in that case, I just go ASA or something like that. Okay. Yeah, I heard people don't like eSign ABS Plus, so that probably is not great. I'm sure some people could chime in on what ABS Plus they like to use. I like Sparta. It prints very well, and I find it strong enough for what I need. Let's try and get this not burn myself. There's not a whole lot of ABS brands that have good colors available to me in Canada. So unfortunately, I'm limited to what I can find on Amazon or locally. All right, 3 heat sets, good to go. I think I'm just gonna turn this. Let's take out my bed now because it's gonna fall. I still don't have my bed heater, which is annoying. I ordered it some time ago off AliExpress, and I still don't have it. But we will print on blue tape. Blue painter's tape is better anyways, so that's what we're going to be printing on. So there we go. Hey, Carol Fox, welcome, welcome. Polyterra is, I do not like Polyterra filament at all. I never ever use Polyterra. I just don't find it prints very well. I don't like how it looks. That's definitely my least favorite filament in my opinion. There we go. Heat set's all done. For now, plug that, let it cool. So, I do have my wiring, which will come out here for power anyways. So, where did I put my panel? Right here. So, like I say, this will just go right on in between here. It's a snug fit, and the top of the panel is slotted. So there are slots in the top here, so you can adjust the panel up and down depending on how much your frame has shrank, that type of thing. And this should be M3 by 6, I believe. Just double check that. I think that was a 6. Looks like an 8, but M3 by 6 or 8 should work fine. I'm not tightening anything down yet. I want to make sure that it's aligned correctly. Yeah, not my cup of tea personally, but this one's a little tight. Again, most likely from shrinkage. Alright, so we are going to pop this on here. This is, of course, dusty already. Black acrylic loves to collect dust immediately. But panel fits great, so I'm very happy with this. I will release the DXF files for this, and I will release the panel in an STL format. If you're wanting to make your own panels, like printed panels or something like that, that'll be a mod that you can do. I will upload the latest CAD so that you can make your own panels. But I would recommend that you get them cut. I'm sure most areas have like a service to cut some acrylic panels. Any diode laser, like decently powerful diode laser, I think you can even do like 10 watt lasers can even do acrylic. So but I am happy with the fitment of this. Just this one bolt is what? A little off, but looks great. Now we have somewhere to mount our BMG extruder. And we can tape our wires on the inside. That's how I'm building mine, is my wires are running internally inside. So I have a metal BMG clone here. I've already got a motor attached onto it. And essentially all we're going to be doing is we're going to be installing it like this. And my thing is different for some reason. I do not know why. Maybe the hole for this is off to a normal? No, that wouldn't be. I swear this fit when I checked it. It's not the end of the world. I'll drill holes, but actually one might even be, it's hard to say where. I don't know why these don't line up. I think it's because this is flipped. So what I actually should have done is I should have done it like this. I'm pretty sure the holes would line up correctly like this. Based on the BMG that I'm using. Which is probably the correct orientation anyways. I'm trying to think. I could just drill the holes. That's very easy to do. And that's probably what I'll do. So what I might do is I'm gonna have to really make sure that when I put this on the bill of materials like a BMG, specify the right-handed or left-handed BMG so that it will work with this panel. Because I think I have the wrong BMG, and that's why this doesn't line up with these two small holes here. It's not the end of the world. I should be able to just drill the holes for this to mount it, but yeah, I'm gonna have to confirm that for sure in my CAD which model of BMG I have so that I can make sure that's very clear on the bill of materials. Again, not the end of the world if this was messed up. You can easily drill the acrylic. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set this on its panel side here. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to clearly see this, but what we're doing here now is I'm going to tape down my wires that are running along the panel. I'm not doing all the wires. I'm simply doing my motor wires and 2 power wires is it. So I need to make sure that they're out of the way, they're taped down nicely. So I have some black gaffer tape somewhere here. There was, did it fall? No, it's right here. So I just have some matte black gaffer tape. It'll make these look as clean as I would care to for them to be. But as I said, this design does support wires running on the outside as well. So there are cut notches for wires to come out the bottom, out the side, and then back into the to the top if that's what you would prefer. Let's see if I can just get this started here. It's definitely a bit annoying to tape these down, but it's a dark panel, so you're not going to see these. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Definitely for stuff that I do, does not have to be perfect. So, just like so. That'd be incredible if mine was the top result on YouTube. That's insane if that's the case. And then yeah, we are just going to tape those down so they're to get this to lay nice and flat. I'm definitely not going for perfection here. We're just going for good enough. I can always redo this after the fact. So, not pretty, but it'll work. Yeah, that'll do. Does not hit the oh. All right, so that cleans up some of the wiring there already. So we're gonna move that down. And I think I'm just gonna do a little bit of wiring management here so that I can sit this flush. Because this is kind of getting in the way, so I'll probably put a little sticky here. And we can zip tie some of that stuff down. All right, so yeah, smash that like button if you're enjoying the stream. Pop in a cable zip tie location there. I want to make sure that I can. So yeah, I want this to run down here. I want this to go here. I think it's a little. Yeah. Zip tie this up something like that so it's kind of out of the way. Hey, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Let's just get this up here. I think I can just start that. Feed all my wires in. Definitely does not have to be perfect. Just needs to be good enough. I can always redo this if I want it to be cleaner afterwards. There we go. There, just so that's out of the way. There we go. All right. So panel installed. All right. So what we're going to do is, what should I do next here? I got my wiring kind of sorted. This one here, I think I'm going to leave the panel off just for now. Just so we can go get a bunch of light in here because I don't have LEDs yet that are ready to install. I don't want to be too dark in here when we start doing some printing. So I am going to leave this side panel off. And then I do have to get a door cut. We'll probably do that panel and the door next stream. That'll be like the final wrap-up stream, most likely. So I think I really want to get this installed. The BMG installed, that is. So I'm going to have to drill some holes. And I'm going to have to mark this. should work. I know it's a black mark on black acrylic, but it should show up. Yes, yes. It's kind of... I'm going to do one at a time. I think I did the wrong hole, but let's see if I can drill out that acrylic. If I can find my drill. 1 second. Alright, found my drill. So I am going to mute this really quickly so that you guys don't hear a drill spinning. Done and done. Easy stuff. Okay. Alright. Man, this acrylic is just all over the place. Okay, so I should now be able to pop in a M3. Yep. And I should be able to put on a M3 nut on that. So, perfect. That's how it was supposed to fit when I designed it, but I think I had the wrong direction extruder. Okay, BMG extruder mounted. I probably should just drill that bottom hole now so that it's done. And then the extruder, when it's doing like pressure advance and crap, I don't want it going like this. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Hopefully this extruder is still functional. Okay, I'll pause. I'll mute this real quick again. All right, there we go. Let's do another M3. And I need another nut. Yeah, that's why I muted it. I don't know if that would be a great noise for a stream. Just drilling. That's not going nowhere. Nice and mounted. Perfect. All right, so I can now run the Bowden tube, and I'm going to try to basically extend this as far as this is going to go, because we want to make the Bowden tube as short as possible. So we are going to plug in the Bowden all the way into the extruder, make sure it's nice and seated on there, and then yeah, like something like this. So I think I don't want like really harsh angles or anything like that, so I'm gonna just go a touch bigger. We'll clip it around here. You can always clip more off of this. You cannot add to this, so. And I do have an ECAS fitting here. Just make sure. That's probably even too long, but that'll be fine. And yeah, let's just get these situated a bit better. That should be nice and tight, which it is. Yes, indeed. So I did make this longer than I needed, just if I want to shorten it up. So that should be plenty. Should work very well. So next step, I think I just want to zip tie the hot end wires a little bit to the Bowden. Normally I wouldn't do this. The Bowden tube should be on its own, but I just want to clean this up very, very quickly. And I'll figure out more of the wiring, making the wiring nice afterwards. I just want to manage these few wires, and that was not all the wires I wanted to zip tie on. So we're just gonna zip tie that in down there temporarily. I'll get a cable sheath or something like that for this eventually. Let's not use this one then. Let's just. Just to keep these wires from getting all tangled up and such. That's all I'm planning on doing with these. Hello, welcome. Hey, I always zip tie my wiring. It just might not look good. I've always zip tied my wiring up. Most of the time. There. That's good enough for me. Good enough for me. All right. Oh yeah, I probably need a part or a hot end fan. That would be ideal. After I already zip tied those, whatever. Let's do that really quick. We would be getting clogs if I did not do that. Okay, so we need to run a power wire. So I have a collection of like ends, fan ends, because I don't do any crimping or anything like that because I'm lazy, nor do I have the tools required, nor do I want to buy them. So I have like ends for the fan, And we're just going to use those. I thought I had a longer one though, somewhere here. Not under this or anything, no. I mean, I'll use this one if I have to, but I was sure I had a longer one. Anyways. So what we're going to do is I'm going to make a... If I can, this is so fucking short. I don't know why I cut this one so short. I swear I had a longer one of these. Yeah, the Rook is probably one of the fastest Core XY printers to build. That is probably a true statement. Oh yeah, this is better here. I'm just going to swapple with this one. Yeah, I think the Rook would be probably one of the quicker Core XY printers to build. All right. So this is going to plug in somewhere up here. I don't even know where the fan. So fan 0. I'm not going to plug anything in because the printer's on. Actually, before I do this, I'm just going to power this off because I don't want to short out a fan port. Preferably would be great. So I'm just going to power this down properly. So we'll plug in the fan here, and we're going to run the wiring through this. So I probably should just take this off. Let's do it the other way. Let's run it through here first. So we know the length that we need. Yeah, I'll have NeoPixels. It won't be a ring, but I'm going to put NeoPixel here, here, and here on the inside. On all three faces. I have LEDs, I just don't have them soldered up. I'm just trying. I will have those ready for next time. Next Saturday's stream should be the final stream for Delta Flyer. It will be officially out of beta, and we'll be buttoning everything up. LEDs, all the panels, we'll put the front door on, all that kind of stuff. We'll have a part cooling fan, like it'll be the final build for Delta Flyer on stream. I can then make a nice YouTube video on it. It'll be officially released and out of beta. Because already there's no problems with this build. It's going perfectly, so it's basically done. Yeah, I really just need it for light on this build because the side panels are black. You won't be able to see anything printing in here. The front door won't be black, but slide over that. Should be fine. The front door won't be black, but pretty much the other panels are going to be. All right, so let's feed this. Here. Yeah, for sure. That's definitely a good setting to change. It works on most prints. Some prints it won't work on depending on what you're printing, but it can definitely help with quality for sure. Okay, so we can now slide this on. All right, get up my fancy heat gun. Shrink this down a bit. Oh, you got started on Clipper, which is great. Now you can pretty much build whatever you want if you're familiar with Clipper. That's usually most people's struggle is Clipper. So you're mostly already there. Okay, I'll zip tie that. Basically, that's going to go like that. All right, good enough for me. All right, so what I need to do now is put the end on this. That was the one I was looking for, I think, but oh well. And we'll give myself a lot of room here, so we'll cut this here. We'll need a little bit more wiring. You still haven't got your MP jets? Like, usually those don't take that long at all. And I'm in Canada and I got mine fast. All right, let's double check, make sure that the Manta Easy is the correct pinout here. So fan 0, voltage is on the top of the pin. Yes, which is correct. So I don't have to wire these backwards. So I probably should do another heat shrink tubing just to make sure this is nice and clean. Not that I really care, it's going to be all hidden anyways. Yeah, I'm doing wires, not well, but I am doing wires. Yeah, this is a tiny one, Ruben. It's only 120 by 120 build area. It's pretty small. I do have a smaller one called Min. It's like this big. It's good for printing little minis like this guy here. I printed this on our member stream. It's a little D&D toad. So that's usually what it's for. This will be a bit more useful. Yep, these are Delta Flyer Voyager colors. I mean, most Federation ships are multiple different grays with a splash of blue and red. So that's why I chose these colors. The name does come from Delta Flyer from Star Trek Voyager. There's that. All we should have to do is wire up the end stops and we'll be printing. And we will be printing. So do that. Yeah, if you check out my YouTube channel, Ruben, you'll find more info on Min. And also on my Discord, if you're not on my Discord. I have a channel on there. A bunch of people have built Min. It's a really cool printer. But it's really useful for like printing benchies and tabletop minis. That's about all it's for. It's only like a 90 millimeter build area. It's definitely not big at all. All right. Hot end fan plugged in. Usually the first fan is your part cooling fan, and then it's your hot end fan afterwards. So, yeah, Min did pretty well for an accident, basically. I was never intending to make a Delta that small, but I kind of wasn't paying attention. Okay, so now we need to do end stops. So bring up my so for Z end stop, they're kind of in a weird location, but yeah, man, these end stops are really weird. What is, so that's RGB port there. So Z end stop is here. And ground is on the top. So I should make my 5-volt wiring first. So like I say, all of these end stops run on 5 volts. So we're just going to steal 5 volts from BL Touch, the BL Touch port on here. We're not running a BL Touch on a Delta, so we're gonna steal that. So I'm gonna cut the 5-volt lead on all of these end stops. And we're going to basically just splice them together into one 5-volt lead. So all of them can share the 5 volts from BL Touch. So we got our other end stops here. So we need to figure out what wire is 5 volts. So we need to set that like this. So this one here is, so ground is a lot of dots. 5 volts is the spaced out dots. Okay, so this is our 5 volts. So we're going to cut that. Strip that. We're going to combine this to our other 5 volt lead. Thanks for stopping by, Canrog. Appreciate it. Okay, and then we'll do the 5 volts on this guy. Is this the same? And this wiring is different, but... So this one, if I can see, here's my light here. Voltage is with the writing on it. That's kind of what I had thought. So we'll separate that, cut this, strip it, and we will combine it with our other 5 volt lead, which is here. I'll move the camera a little bit for you guys so you can see a bit easier what I'm doing. But basically I wanted to take all the 5 volt. See if I can't raise this up a bit more. This might be maximum height actually. Oh no, I can get it up a bit more. So yeah, not an amazing view for you guys, unfortunately. I don't have an overhead cam, but basically what I did was I took all 3 5 volt wires and I combined them into one, and we're going to run a lead off of this into our BL Touch port for RGB. So here's our ground and signal wires for all of the end stops. And I'm just literally going to take one of these guys here that I cut off, and we're going to wire it up for our 5 volt lead. Pretty straightforward. All optical end stops need a 5 volts. And this board is only a 2-pin end stop board. It does not have 5 volts going to the end stops. So we need to just grab 5 volts from somewhere else. Not too big of a deal. Just electrical tape is my friend. There's our 5 volt lead. So if we go to the pinout on this, I am going to plug this into the 5 volt BL Touch, which is one from the left, which should be this right there. So that should be 5 volts to my end stops. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to verify I'm plugging in all my end stops in the correct location, and I'm going to check that in mainsail. So we need to power this up. Now that these end stops have 5 volts, we should see their red lights come on. So I'm going to plug this printer back in. Hopefully there's no magic smoke. And we should have red lights. I don't know if these are... I think that's... We'll give that a moment to power up. Is that right? Yes. That should be correct for 5 volts. Ground, 5 volts, and then signals, so... We should have lights on these. I'll share my screen for you guys here in a moment. I do not know why we have no lights on these. I mean, that should be 5 volts. Beal touch, ground, 5 volts. I'm pretty positive this was the 5 volts from all of the leads here. Let's just double check this. It's possible that the lights don't come on until they're plugged into an end stop. So let's do the Z end stop first. We're going to see if this works. And the Z end stop is, I believe, this guy. Yeah, so the light came on after we plugged it into the actual board. So if I go the light's not changing. I might have plugged it in backwards. Let's just double check on mainsail. Hey Rebel, welcome. So end stop's not triggered. If I raise this up, still not triggered. So I wonder if I have my end stop backwards. Gonna unplug it, flip the connector around, and we'll plug it back in and see if that helps. There we go. Light came off when my flag touched. And it's probably backwards in the config, but that's okay. Why is this not triggering though? Okay. Is that not the Z end stop? This is usually what takes the longest. So Z end stop. Is this one right here, right beside the fan ports? Yes, correct. And it should trigger. You can see it triggering the light, so that's working. Oh, was I on the right? I don't know why it's not. Okay, let's go into here. Printer config, no, not that. Yes. So nstop PC6, which is on my thing here. Yeah, PC6. So why would that not trigger? Hey Pixel Thrust, welcome, welcome. You're just wiring the end stops on my Delta, but it does not want to trigger for some reason. Which does not make any sense. Light doesn't change at all on that. And if I go to my end stop, not triggered. Why does that not like me? Okay, let's just omit that one for now, and let's do a sanity check on these other two. So this one here is my Y end stop. So let's plug that into the Y, which is right below Z. So let's see if this has better luck. That's X actually, that's not Y. So this should be Y here. Okay, so that's my Y. Okay, it's not triggering when I go onto it, so let's flip the leads around. Okay, so it's triggering now when my flag goes up, the light's dimming, which is what we want. And let's go into my config. Okay, so nothing triggered yet. Move this up, light dims, and it's not triggering. Oh, I might have to change my end stop. Take out the little arrow thingy. So this is Y, which is B, yeah. So let's just change the end stop pin. I think there's a pull-up in Clipper, like it's got the little pull-up arrow on it, I think might be causing me problems. Yeah, it is triggering. Why is the end stop not triggering on this? This doesn't make any sense. I can clearly see it triggering, but it's not triggering in mainsail. I am on the right. What am I missing here? I must have the wiring wrong or something. It doesn't make any sense. So let me go back to this one here. So this is my Z end stop. I'm going to plug it in so that the light turns on, and I'm going to just unplug the 5 volts temporarily, see if the light goes out. So yeah, this is my 5 volt lead, so that's correct. And I'm sure it's something stupid that I'm overlooking. I can almost guarantee you it is. Is that not the right? Did I just plug that in? Why is this not triggering at all now? Can I just not see it? Yeah, that should be correct. Okay, this is really, really weird. Yeah, I confirmed the pinout with the end stop and the connector. That is correct. This is just being really stupid for some reason. Okay, so no, the 5 volt is fine. It's just 5 volts. Yeah, I did follow the cable of the end stop to make sure it is. There's only 2 signals. It's ground and signal. So even if I have those wrong, I can just flip them and then it would be correct. So like it doesn't make sense. Like I've separated the 5 volt line out from these. The only 2 options is ground and signal. So I can plug them in either way and I'll know right away if it's wrong or not. It doesn't make sense. It's not triggering main cell at all. Okay, what was I trying to look at here? Okay, so my ZN stop is the one right beside the fan. So I plug that in here. The light's not dimming. If I flip this around, the light's still not dimming. It was dimming before. Let's unplug this and let's I'm gonna try the X end stop. Yeah, I want to just, if I can verify one, then I'll go back to the ones that don't work. It's not really possible that all 3 are not working, but I could have some wiring wrong. Absolutely, it's definitely possible. Okay, so this is my X end stop. One should work. So my X end stop is right below the Y. Okay, maybe I can see where I got the X and Y wrong at least. This board is kind of like... Wait, am I dumb? Does this have 3-pin and? No, it does not. Okay. I thought maybe this board had both. Actually, wait a minute. Why does this not look the same? I mean, this kind of looks the same, but this has... I'll be really annoyed if this had 3-pin and 2-pin end stops the whole time. Anyways, let's just ignore that and let's plug in our X. So our X is plugged in. So the light is not changing when I'm touching the flag. Fine, no big deal. So I flip this around. Yeah, it is possible I have something stupid, wired stupid, and the light's not changing. They were just changing though. Doesn't make any sense. Ah, man. Story of my life. Okay, so yeah, let's take a look at one of these. Double check, triple check that I know what's ground, voltage, and signal. So here's our X end stop. The really spaced out dots on the wire is 5 volts. So the really spaced out dots on the wire are going to my 5 volts, which I just unplugged, which is fine. Ground is the middle wire, which is a dot and then a dash. So again, it doesn't matter. I should be able to tell when plugging it in if it's wrong or not. So yeah, dot and then a dash is my ground, which would be on the top. So if I go to my pinout picture, ground is on the top of all these end stops. This doesn't make any sense though. Okay. I'm gonna try something. I think maybe the pinout diagram is a piece of garbage. Let me just see. I might be plugging these into the wrong ports. Is my issue. Oops. Okay. Let's just see what we get here now. Nothing. Okay, let's flip these around then. Okay, that's finally dimming. And it's still not triggering. I don't understand. How is this not... do I have an end stop for sanity check? Yeah, these are the same end stops as min. So my light is triggering on the end stop. So I know that this is, the flag is touching it, it's triggering correctly. On Delta Flyer, which, this is the right mainsail, yeah, we're all good there. If I go to my end stops, they're all open, A, B, C, and are open. And they're still all open when it's triggering, which doesn't make any sense. But I have my pull-up resistor on. I'm just going to remove the pull-up resistor on all of these, A, B, and C. And we'll see if that makes any changes. Still nothing. Yeah, but if I have those flipped around, I can just swap them. If ground is going to signal and signal is going to ground, just swapping the connectors should fix it. There's only 2 connections on here, which is... I just think I'm reading this stupid pinout wrong. I'm not using the end stop that I'm supposed to be or something. X ground PC4. Yeah. It looks like this had 3-pin end stops too, which is really stupid. I could have just left them all. Okay, doesn't matter. Yeah, I verified that as well. No, this is a Manta Easy. I can see this triggering. It's not triggering the end stop for some reason. So this is A. If I go into A, so stepper A, end stop pin is PC4, which is exactly what I'm looking at on the stupid thing. So X, PC4. I know ground and PC4. I'll show you guys my screen so you can see it a bit better. So I'm looking at the X stop. I'm pretty sure I don't have anything wrong. I could open this up on YouTube, otherwise I can't see chat now. Wow, come on, Wi-Fi, holy. So I'm going to double check. Is it this one here? I have my other Delta Flyer turned on. I can verify. It's a different board, but I can verify the pinout. What is this stupid thing here? I'm just going to stop sharing my screen here for a second. So I can find... Where is my CB2 that I just powered up? CB2, why are you not in here? This is turned on. Yeah, that's on. Okay. Why is that not in my Wi-Fi list? Pretty sure it's called Battery Tech CB2. Okay, so 93 is what I'm using for Delta Flyer, correct. There's my CB2, Big Tree Tech CB2. Okay. So let's get this up open. So if I go to my Delta Flyer prototype, this is not the config file. Yeah, so end stop pin just normally listed in here. There's no pull-up, little clipper pull-up resistor thing on there. So I removed those all from Delta Flyer. So PC4, PB0, and PC6. PC4, PB0, PC6. That's all correct in the config. So that is all absolutely correct. So let's tip this over again. My ground wire is the wire with all the little tiny dots. They're really close together. It's very easy to tell which is ground. So if I follow this guy, and right now my ground wire is on the top, which is correct. The ground is on the top or middle pin of this end stop, and signal is on the bottom, which is exactly how I have it plugged in. But it's not triggering the end stop in mainsail. Oops. There's got to be something dumb I'm missing here. I know there is. Because yeah, the light goes out, I'm triggering it. Unless there's a bug in mainsail and it's not showing the end stop trigger. But I've always used that. I'm trying to think of what else it could be. See if I can check Clipper command for triggering end stop state. Clipper end stop status. Configuration checks. Verify end stops. Okay, query end stops. That's what I was looking for. Maybe mainsail is not reporting the end stop. So let's just query them. A, B, and C are open. So if I press up, I can see it's definitely not. A, B, and C are still open. So yeah, it's not the mainsail. Yeah, I'm using the same MSTOTs on Delta Flyer, and I don't have any pull down set up. It's just a simple, it's just the pin in Clipper. There's no pull down or anything like that. It's just a simple pin. I confirmed it on my other Delta Flyer. Unless, I tried it both ways. I tried it with Yeah, this doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I don't have another end stop. Let's sanity check this. See if I can find a mechanical end stop we'll plug in, and then I can see. Because we want to start eliminating what I have incorrect. Okay, so I do have a clicky end stop here, but unfortunately this is not even usable. I don't know if I don't use mechanical end stops very often. I mean, I have a clicky one up here, but I don't have wiring for it. I have a BL touch, not going to help. Maybe I don't have a spare end stop. Alright, well, can't do that. No. Oh, maybe you're right on the sensorless homing. That's a good one. I could be a moron because I use this. In another build. So yeah, sensorless homing's probably on. That is a really good check. I'm almost positive sensorless homing's on. What is the diag pins on here though? Yeah, I'm pretty positive sensorless homing is turned on here, but I need to verify what the diag pins are. So that is probably it. Good call on that one. Let me try and find the diag pins on this. And that is probably exactly it. Pretty positive it is actually, because I would have used this on a sensorless homing printer, so XY would have for sure. Z doesn't, but let's just focus on X for now. This doesn't even highlight where the diag pins are for it. How did I find those? And easy flipper. I believe it's in the GitHub. Manta E3 Easy. I mean, it doesn't explain the Z. I shouldn't have sensorless on Z, but it's possible I just plugged that into the wrong Z port. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into firmware. Or actually, we're going to look at the manual, because I think in the PDF manual it says the where the diag pins are, because I would have had to find them for another printer. Reading PDFs on GitHub is really stupid, but I don't want to download it because I just want to get this really fast. Okay. That's pretty useless. Pinout. USB power. Motor voltage selection, that's all correct. Okay, driver diag, sensorless homing. There's multiples? Weird. Why is it highlighting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? So there's two. Okay, I'm gonna have to power this down so I don't fry anything when I'm getting some pliers in there. So let's shut this off. But yeah, it's probably the jumpers for this. I totally forgot I used this on another printer, so that would be why it's not triggering. Alright, so let's pull the diag pins off of this guy. I'm just going to use these to do the pulling. Does it actually say on the board? Yeah, it doesn't specifically say. Oh yeah, it does say. Oh yeah, Z. I don't even know why. Why do I have sensorless homing on Z on this? Yeah, I had it on all 3 axes. So good call on that. Let's just take that one out. And let's take Y. I can see them now. So this, okay, there's one here that looks weird. Should I not remove that one? I don't know why that one's jumpered. It's not showing up. I'm going to put that back. Yeah, X, Y, and Z, I had jumpers on them, it looks like. That's what happens when you have leftover boards and you're reusing them. So, okay. X, Y, and Z jumpers are off for sensorless homing. That is going to be a easy fix. I can 100% guarantee you that was the issue. I can absolutely guarantee that was the problem. So good catch on that. So let's just wait for it to power up, and I will bet any money that is why they were not triggering. So okay, we will be printing today. I swear we will be. CB1 takes a moment or two to power up. Alright, so if we go into here, we check our end stops. So all 3 end stops are now fully triggered, which is fine. Okay, so they're just all saying triggered, which is okay. That's massive progress. So I'm gonna just play around with plugging and unplugging these to figure out how they should be plugged in. So now it's not lighting up, okay. So let's put that back. Helps if my 5 volts attached. I'm gonna have to hot glue some of these in place. Okay, so that's not. Let's move it over. Got it. It's sorted. A end stop is working. Yes. Okay. Oh man, that took longer than it was supposed to. But we got it. It's a good thing I was streaming because it probably would have taken me more time to figure that one out. So that's awesome. Okay, this is my Y, I'm assuming. Yeah, this is my Y end stop. So we're gonna plug that in. Yeah, it says open. It says triggered. And now we just need to do the Z, wherever the heck those cables are. Where's my Z? Okay. Yeah, this is ridiculously easy now that I now that I'm doing it correctly. Z. Okay, that one's backwards, I think. Yeah, I knew something was like, it wasn't the wiring, because they only go like a certain way. Like, it's pretty easy to figure out. All right, we're gonna do a home. We're gonna do an official home. So let me go back to my stream and like get this set up correctly so I see what we're doing here. Let's turn this. The very first home. All right, Delta Flyers inaugural home. So let's go to Delta Home All. And there we go. Look at the beauty of that. I can now move it around. So if I go Control, I want to set this to cross. I can now move it down and it obeys me. Look at that. Look at the beauty. Okay. We need to get the extruder motor plugged in. We need to do a calibration, clipper calibration. I'm going to have to VHB this guy on. And I think that will wrap the stream up once we get this guy printing. This surface looks the best. So, get me some VHB tape here. I'm just going to cut some really tiny slivers because I don't have my heater, and I'm going to have to pull this right back off once I get my heater, but I don't want the bed moving around when we're printing. Actually, can I just Again, this doesn't have to be crazy sticky. I just want this to... Yeah, it can be much quieter too if I put on Clipper Auto Tune and dial in some settings. I think I'm still running 16 microsteps too. I could go down to 32 to make it even quieter if I want, but we'll see. Let's get these VHB tabs in place. If you're building Delta Flyer, then you would be bolting your bed down if you drill your bed, because the frame is also a jig. I do need to update the parts on printables so that the frame is the jig, but you can bolt down your bed with M3 bolts, because on the normal Delta Flyer it's a 150 bed, not 120 like mine is right here. But we're going to be using blue painter's tape on this guy. OG. Alright. There we go. Bed installed. And I will get some painter's tape here. Again, we're just going to do this ghetto style. You could definitely use Kapton if you wanted to. But we're gonna do some OG blue painter's tape. All right, so I'll turn this so you guys can see it a bit better. We should be able to do a clipper calibrate. And I'm gonna steal the calibration macro from my other printer. So I need some info in here to calibrate. I will share my screen with you guys here. So let me just check out this really quick. Okay, so we're gonna put this up at the top. So radius 72, horizontal move 25. Okay, that's fine. So let me swap to you guys so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just putting a bit more information into Clipper. We do need to put in a delta calibration section. So my radius, I'm setting my radius to 72. I think that's what I settled on when I was doing my Delta Flyer prototype. So we're going to use 72 as the radius. And then horizontal move, we want it to move up 25 millimeters before it goes to the next point. You'll see that when we do a delta calibration. We also want to have end stop phase in here as well, because we are going to be doing some end stop phase calibration. So we're going to pop that in there as well. We'll put in exclude object because I do want to run camp for purge lines. So we'll do end stop and probably arcs. So we're going to put arcs turned on for sure. So we'll have arc support turned on, all that's turned on. We'll save that, make sure there's no errors. And then we should be able to do calibration once I make one more change. So this should be the correct arm length for this, I think. I'm just going based on my Delta Flyer prototype. It's got the same arms. So this is the arms I specified. My position end stop was 100 in this, and this is 50 millimeters taller. So I want to do position end stop 150, I believe, because this is a 50 millimeter taller printer. And we'll know right away if that's wrong or not. So if I go in here and I go into macros now, I should have a bunch of macros for delta calibration. So that's print start. So I'm just going to grab this macro because then I have a button to press. And I'm just going to throw these in my printer config at the top. Just it's quicker for us. So that's a delta calibrate, and we can calibrate our end stops. So basically Clipper will run through and it will do a bunch of different heights, and it will trigger the end stops at a bunch of different heights to make sure that the end stops trigger at the exact same time. So this is going like 40, 20, 60 Z, 40 Z, 30 Z. We can change these to whatever we want. Like we should be able to do 100 in here. This could be 75, all sorts of stuff, and it'll do a calibration. So, but first I think we want to do a delta calibrate. So we now have a delta calibration button macro here. I need to get a piece of paper. Grab a slim piece of paper that we can use, and I am going to swap the camera for you guys so you can see how delta calibration works. So I'm going to press the delta calibration button. It should home and it should lower the effector way too much. That was a failure. I think the screws just popped out, so let's just, I don't think we broke anything, luckily. Wow. That's what happens when you set the wrong Z. Yeah. So these screws just thread into plastic, so that'll be a good clip. Let me tighten these back down and let's I'm probably gonna have to do a mod so that those have M3 bolts holding them in, but good thing I didn't, because this is, oh, are they all still in here? These luckily just thread into plastic. So let's reattach all those bolts. That was a nozzle crash and a half. But that's okay, because everything's still good to go. And let's check our Z first. So let's just home. So this is Z150, and let's move the effector to where it should go. That doesn't look right. Let me just hit home this up. Okay, so we home this. Let's go to Z. So I moved down 50 millimeters, which seems really excessive. This seems to not be moving. It's moving too much. I wonder if I have something wrong here. Let me just... it could just be me thinking it's not. Yeah, that's definitely not 50 millimeters. That was our problem. Is... Yeah, I'm pretty sure my rotation distance is wrong. Or something like that. Which... What printer did I use? No, this is a new config, but... Rotation distance is 40, which it should be for belt drive. These motors aren't 0.9. Just want to double check my other Delta Flyer config, because it, again, it should be the same. Yeah, rotation distance 40, microstep 16. I never set my rotation per end stop or whatever it's called there, like 200 or 400. So this should be correct. But yeah, that's definitely not 50. It's doing double, so it's... No, you don't do a rotation distance calibration really for X, Y, or Z. Because there's only one number it can be. It's only 40 millimeters. If that's really way off, then you have something else wrong with your printer usually. Maybe these are like 0.9. So I need to specify another setting here. And of course my laptop is not connected. So I'm just gonna do this way. I'm just gonna set that to 20, I think will help. Yeah, I still think this is wrong, but yeah, that's definitely not. Went the wrong way. I think it should be 80. All right, let's try this again. Home. And I want you to move 50 down. That looks much better. Oops. Yeah, roughly 50. That's perfect. Okay, so I can go down another 50. So that we've moved 100 millimeters. So if I keep going down 25. So yeah, this is 150. I just don't know if I want that in my config as 150. I'm going to put my position end stop as 125 just to see. I'd rather it fail than crash again. So we're going to see. This shouldn't crash. It might just fail when it tries to do delta calibrate. And yeah, I'm just trying to hope that this is on enough that we can do one print. I'll have to reprint that, but that's fine. So let's do a delta calibration now. And hope it's not going to crash anything. Okay, so yeah, that's too high. So we need to set because it steps down too low, too much. So it's basically saying there's 25 left to go. So if I did another 25, let's just, there's 10, 10. Yeah, so we want to, it is 150. So I'm going to set my position end stop as 150. Yeah, we should be good now. Okay, let's home this guy. But that was an epic crash, which was good. It's good for the contents. Okay, delta calibrate manual. It's going to home automatically, and then it's going to come down, and it shouldn't crash. Perfect. That's exactly where we want it to be. So on my screen, it's now allowing me to step it down until it touches the paper. So we're going to go down by 1 millimeter at a time. We're going to take it nice and slow. That's if I go the right way. We're going to step it down. We just want it to barely touch this piece of paper. Okay, so now I'm doing 0.1. I'm not going as fast. We're just getting it so that it has some resistance on this paper. So there we go. I can't move the paper, so it's a touch too low. This is perfect. I get some slight resistance here. So now we're going to hit accept, and it should move to the next point. So there's our next point, and we need to step it down again. We need to keep going down until it touches the paper. And I think it does 6 or 7 of these points. Oops, and I messed that up. Let's just make sure that this is cinched in. Yeah, this is going to be a nightmare. We might have to bust out the hot glue. Because that is loose from our damage. If I can just get this. I should probably get the hot glue out and glue it, but oh well. So we're going to go down by baby steps now. So I'm gonna, that's pretty good right there. I'm just gonna go up a touch and we're gonna hit accept. And go to the next point. And we'll go down again. I don't want to run into the bottom because this thing is going to break. This is so fast with a nozzle probe, with a Triangle Labs nozzle probe. But this technically is the cheaper and easier way to do it. So we just keep going down until it... Yeah, well, I can tell that it's loose. The hot end mount is loose on the effector. The bolt's definitely stripped out for sure. I'll probably update the part so that the holes are even a little bit smaller so they really grip in. So we're good on that one. I'm going to hit accept. It's going to move to the next point. And we do it again. Okay, I'll move that up. Accept that. Yeah, with the nozzle probe, this takes seconds, obviously, but the nozzle probe doesn't fit on the bamboo hot end or nozzle, so it's annoying to get it to work. I have gotten it to work, but it's not ideal. Okay, there we're touching. That's good enough for me. Oh, I clicked off. Oh, I clicked off the stupid calibration. No. It has to all be done again. Okay, I'm gonna turn this so that I can see much better. You guys can probably still see through the side. It's the only thing I hate about the calibration of the probe. It takes so long. I couldn't see where my mouse was, and I clicked abort or I clicked off the stupid calibration. But you only do this once, so something's binding here too. Wait, what the? One of my motors just... What is going on here? One of my motors just went loose. I gotta get back up here. Don't quite know what was all going on there. No, you don't want to use a clicky probe for Delta. It's not accurate enough. I mean, it might work, but clicky probe is not that accurate. Why did one of those move? I think one of these rods is binding. When I get down to like one rod is sticking or something like that. The dryland bearings don't need lubrication. They're self-lubricating. Yeah, there it goes again. This motor is not working. Now it just turned on. I've never seen that ever. The motor just stops working. I think I might have a faulty motor. Or something's not right. You can see me wiggle the motor up and down. It's like loses power. Let's go into my config here, see if I'm like running too many amps. Oh well, that would be an issue. I don't have UART set up. Totally forgot to set up UART. That might be helpful. Hopefully these motors aren't running like scorching hot. Yep, those are scorching hot. Let's turn that off. We're just gonna power that guy down. Those motors are red hot because I didn't have UART set in the config. So they are insanely warm, like wow. Yeah, they are crazy hot. I'll get my fan here and blow on those. Hopefully there's not like a ton of wind noise coming into the mic, but I'm gonna switch my view for you guys so you can see me fixing more parts that I messed up. So this is a brand new config, obviously, and I forgot to set up UART. So the motors were cooking themselves because I had no amps set at all, which is really bad. So we're gonna actually set this up. I don't need a diag pin. Run current. I'm just gonna grab what I used on this, which is this. So we need to do that, and this should be stepper A. No, this is ABS, so luckily it'll be fine. Yeah, that one is really hot though. Holy, it's still crazy hot. These are not 2130s either. I gotta get the correct. Yeah, let's grab this. Thanks. I don't know if we will be printing today. My config was don't need diag. And yeah, I'm just gonna use what I was on here on this. So I was running Clipper Auto Tune on my other Delta, so I'm gonna have to change my interpolation. Okay. When you run Clipper Auto Tune, interpolation is what recommended. What's the temp of these? These are this thing doesn't work that great. It's definitely way hotter than 40 degrees. Like they're absolutely scalding hot. False. So get all this 2130 crap out of here, because I don't even know if you can get 2130s in these steppers, these like stick type steppers. So this is B or Y. Don't need diag. Yeah, I think I'm just going to set this to false. And then we need, what did I just copy? PC9. PC9, okay, yeah, I just copied it instead of cut it. So cut this. Yeah, something was definitely off with that. That motor was overheating, or the driver was overheating probably too, and it just stopped moving when I was doing the calibration. Like, it was very clearly, I could tell. Oops. And we're just going to do interpolation false on this guy. Okay, UART is now set up for A, B, and Z. 0.8 is probably even more than this thing needs. I'm going to go to 0.7. I've got it twice there for some reason. We're going to do 0.7 on this. Okay. And then I definitely need my extruder UART set up, because that would be bad, melting an extruder, melting my BMG. Yeah, they're absolutely over 120 degrees, that's for sure. Hopefully I did not damage the steppers. And we'll do 0.7 for this too. And this is C. Why is this not saving? Oh, I'm an idiot. I can't change this when it's off. Let's save this, because I am basically editing it offline, which is hilarious, but that's fine. I'll just save it in here. Okay. I got to turn this back on, but man, those are hot. Yeah, those drivers are insanely hot. I think guys, I'm gonna end it here. I think, because these motors are way too hot. They're gonna take a while to cool down, and I don't want to burn out these drivers. The drivers don't feel too bad, but these are stupid hot right now. I think I'll wrap it up here. We unfortunately didn't get printing, but like, yeah, I'll show you guys. I wouldn't want to print anyways. This is like, you can see how cockeyed. This is completely damaged. So I'm not going to push it and break more stuff. I think I'm gonna let it cool down. I'm gonna give the config a once over once everything's cool. I'll still do a calibration on next stream. We should still be able to wrap everything up on next stream. I'll have the door and side panel, all that stuff. And I'll do calibration on next stream, but yeah, I'm just I don't want these drivers to fail or anything like that. It was still a successful stream. We still got our BMG extruder mounted. We have all our wiring basically sorted. Luckily, I don't think any magic smoke came out. And yeah, we definitely broke the hot end, or the mount. You can see the bolts completely fell out on the bottom there when we smashed into that. So we wouldn't get an accurate calibration anyways, because this is completely loose. Like, there's one bolt holding this on. Yeah, see the third bolt fell out? I probably could just pull this off. Yeah, there you go. There's the carnage. I didn't break anything. The plastic didn't break. It's just these holes here, there's no nuts in them. They thread into plastic and they're still too loose. So I'm going to tighten those holes up a little bit, and I'm going to reprint out that, just this mount is all we have to do. Really easy. So this is all good. It's tight, no damage there, but this definitely popped off. I can easily swap these parts onto a new print, tighten all the bolts in, we'll be good to go. So, and yeah, I'll run UART, and I'm going to check and make sure those motors don't get scorching hot. I'm going to make sure all those settings are configured. So the takeaway for this stream is make sure your UART settings are configured in your config file before you start printing, calibrating, motion testing. I don't think we broke anything, luckily, but yeah. So I'm going to end the stream there, guys. I really appreciate you joining me. Next Saturday, we will be printing on this printer. I will have the front door hopefully cut. Hopefully the guy I use can cut it in time. And we'll bolt up the door and get all that stuff working, and we will be printing. So thanks again, everyone. I'm going to end the stream there, and I will talk to you all later.